I just reached the 400 days marker in Warframe. Not in game time, but 400 real life days. It took me around 900 hours to do so, and I have a lot to talk about. And I think I should start with the basics. What even is Warframe? Well, technically it's an online looter shooter, and that description, although not wrong, is kind of a terrible one. When I say looter shooter, you probably think about games like Borderlands or Destiny. Warframe gets compared to Destiny the most. And sure, they both have guns, abilities, and they both involve a lot of shooting and a lot of looting. But saying Warframe is a looter shooter is like saying Breath of the Wild is about climbing mountains and nothing else. That description covers maybe 10 or 15% of what the game is really about, and even that small part isn't quite accurate. If I had to sum up Warframe's gameplay in one phrase, I would call it chaos. Controlled chaos, I should add. And yeah, I know the gameplay in the background doesn't look very controlled. I won't lie, I often have no idea what's going on either. I'm just blasting anything that walks into frame and hoping for the best. And that's kind of a big problem. Every time you see someone talking about this game online, this kind of gameplay is usually what's shown. It's maxed out with high-level madness, which makes the viewer feel overwhelmed, and that gives the game a bad reputation. What people don't realize though is this kind of gameplay is actually what 200 hours into the game looks like, and not 20 minutes. No, when you first start, the game is surprisingly calm. You walk into a mission, kill 30 or 40 enemies, 4 or 5 of them at a time, loot some containers, and just leave. You can actually take your time and discover the game mechanics for yourself. Then, gradually, you stop thinking about it, because the movement and the shooting becomes muscle memory, because what felt like chaos now feels like flow. Honestly, a big part of the blame falls on the content creators. They rarely show normal gameplay. It's always stuff like, watch this insane weapon kill 200 enemies in 2 seconds, or this Warframe is basically a god, kind of stuff. It's definitely entertaining, sure, but representative of the average player experience? Nope, not even close. There is also this myth about the game that Warframe only gets good after 100 hours. That statement isn't just completely false. It's actually kind of childish. Ask any player around that mark, and I guarantee they will say the best hours of the game were the first 20. There is actually a YouTuber named Strife who talks about this idea a lot. He mentioned Warframe specifically and said most people don't have 100 hours to waste on a game, hoping it might get good. And I 100% agree. But Warframe is not one of those games. It's fantastic from the get-go. He even said so in his own review of the game.
Here's what I've written down in my notes for this bit. Great combat, great movement. That's it. That's all I wrote. Because I was actually enjoying the game so much, I forgot to write things down. Warframe is one of the only games that was so much fun on a moment-to-moment, second-to-second gameplay basis, I forgot to do my job.
Which I will link in the description in case any of you want to go watch it. I actually recommend doing so. And to give you an example of what I mean, let me show you some gameplay footage. Did you see what happened? I slash one enemy, shoot another one in mid-air, pin this guy to the wall with an arrow, and then kill 5 more enemies with one move. That was not endgame content. That was literally the 3rd mission in the game, and that is only a small part of the day-to-day gameplay. It makes you feel like a true space ninja. Now, when I say the best hours of the game are the first 20, I don't mean the game gets worse afterwards. No, it simply gets bigger. More weapons, more warframes, more mission types, etc, etc. It is the same game but with a lot of more stuff to do. Now, some people say it gets too complicated, and to be fair, I've been there. I've had moments where I had no idea what the hell I was supposed to do, and just staring at the screen wondering where the hell did that 6-foot gorilla looking dude just came from, and just how on earth am I supposed to kill him. The developers could definitely do a better job at explaining certain systems, and they should provide clearer objectives and better layouts for some missions. But let's be honest, a game can either be deep, rich and filled to the brim with content, or it can be super simple and easy to understand from day one. You never get both. And this game is too hard to understand crowd, you might want to sit down for this one, because I'm about to bestow some crazy knowledge upon you. And here it goes. Warframe is a video game. Understanding how a video game works is not hard. Working in a factory for 12 hours a day in a country plagued by inflation is hard. Fighting a chronic illness or losing a family or friend, watching prices go up while your paycheck stays the same, wondering if your kids will have a better future than yours in a world that's falling apart day by day is hard. Playing a video game is not hard. Life is hard. So next time you're having trouble wrapping your head around what kind of damage is good against what enemy faction in a video game, just slow down, pay attention and maybe try reading what's on the screen before you start complaining. Seriously, sometimes all you have to do is to click a button. It's not rocket science. I know I'm being way too dramatic, but there is a good reason. Because this too complicated reputation and the myth that this game gets good only after 100 hours drives new players away before they even get a chance to experience Warframe's story. And the story of this game, it's absolutely amazing. Maybe the best in any online game I have ever played. I'm not gonna go over details, and keep in mind this is only a drop in the ocean of lore this game has. And I should mention there are spoilers ahead. It all begins with a spaceship, the Zeriman 10-0, a colony vessel meant to carry settlers to the New World. But in order to reach their destination faster, the Orokin, the ruling class of the time, ordered the ship to travel through the void instead, a dimension where time fractures and physics hum like broken glass.
Hey, it's me. If you're listening to this, I guess you found the datapad I left sitting on your bedside table. I've been thinking about what you said, though. Right, look, you've always been the smart one in this relationship. And I know how much you look up to our comedian Yanta. What I'm trying to say is, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I said Yanta and your team were gonna get us all killed. It's just that things have been intense lately, and I'm still not convinced that Yanta isn't insane. But you are, and always will be, the most important thing to me. And if you really do believe the jump will be safe, I'll trust you. Anyway, I'll shut up now. These last few weeks have been rough, but we just need to hold out a little longer. One jump and we'll be in paradise, right? Okay, I'll be home late. Love you, my angel.
They were supposed to pass through, just a jump, one blinding moment of faster than light travel. But the void doesn't simply let go. The moment the ship entered, everything changed.
Pardon the interruption. This is Zeriman Actual. All decks, all stations, stand by for reliquary field drill.
Angel, my star, I need you to open this door. I know you're listening to these messages. Please, I'm scared. Things are getting really bad out there. I went to look for supplies and, my God, the bodies. I think some of them were children. I should barricade this apartment. Look, you can't stay locked in there forever. I don't care about the jump. I don't care what went wrong. I just care about you. Just come out. Please.
The adults on board lost their minds. Hallucinations, screaming, paranoia. They turned on each other. And worst, they turned on their own children.
I begged for you to open this door. I reasoned. I cried. I screamed. But then tonight, I wake to the sound of you howling like some kind of animal. Find you in the hallway. Your hands choking the life out of that child. He was just a kid. You were so thin, like a corpse. And the way you looked at me as I shouted, it was like you didn't know who I was. All I wanted was for you to open that damn door. And now I have to carry the guilt of knowing you're dead because of me. Because the moment you turned to the sound of my voice was all that child needed to prove. The void doesn't just take, it also gives.
But the kids, the one who should have been the most fragile, survived. They locked themselves away in a dark region of the ship and waited. After what felt like lifetimes locked away, starving and afraid, the children stood on the edge of death. Not with screams or drama, but with the hollow stillness of fading breaths. Too weak to cry, too tired to beg. But just before the light of the last candle faded, something answered their call. Not a demon, nor a god, but a presence, an idea. You don't see it at first, only in glimpses, in the reflection of the mirror, in the silence between thoughts. It didn't break the door down, it simply was waiting, patiently watching, and when they were finally quiet enough to listen, it offered them a gift, and the children, too empty to refuse, accepted the offer. And that's how they became the Tenno, weapons in shape of innocence, blessed by the twisted mercy of the void. But the void does not simply vanish, it always leaves something behind. Or should I say, someone.
Rat-tat-tat. The man in the wall.
How many more days can I go on? Choking down these rancid scraps, hiding from the sounds of their laughter. I see my reflection in this splinter of broken glass, and I'm going to die here, Angel. And still you stare at me with those sad, unblinking eyes, shimmering like dew on the academy lawn, where I'd wait for you. And so I wait, and I wait, and I wait! And for what? For the emptiness that seeps into these walls to worm its way inside me, too. Already it envelops me. A warm breath in my ear. A half-whispered lullaby that turns into a chorus as the corpses that litter every filthy corner of this forsaken ship raise their voice in song. And then I see you. Not this pale and empty husk, but the real you. Crowned in Harvest Festival flowers. As we dance, you open your mouth, but I cannot hear your voice. And I thrash and I howl and I beg for you to sing for me. But in my heart, I know I will never hear your voice again. Because you are no longer mine. Goodbye. My angel.
If that sounds like a phenomenal story, that's because it is. And this is just the beginning. Trust me, it gets so much better from here. But here's the thing, the lore of this game isn't exactly out in the open. It's hidden, tucked away in the codex entries, item descriptions, and subtle details. Honestly, it reminds me a lot of how From Software handles its lore. And after Dark Souls, which in my opinion has the best story in video game history, Warframe is a really close second. And this game does something really hard for an online game. It creates genuinely likable characters. Before playing this game, I never thought a goldfish could have such a dramatic backstory. Even if you're not super into all these Zariman lores or the deeper storylines, I highly recommend you at least try out Warframe 1999. It is incredible. Trust me, you are not gonna regret it. Honestly, I could just sit here and talk about it for hours, but we have to move on. But we can't talk about the story without mentioning what makes it so fantastic. The music. Not just the background tracks you hear during the missions, those are solid too, but I'm talking about the real stuff, the cinematic tracks, the emotional themes during big story moments, the way a single melody can change how you feel about an entire world. There is this track called This Is What You Are, and I swear, every time it plays, my soul just pauses for a second. It's haunting, emotional, and strangely calming. There is also For Armor, and the first time it plays, the sadness just hits you like a brick to the face. It's the kind of stuff that makes you stop playing and just listen for a while. Now, a fantastic story, fun gameplay, and music like this is pretty much everything you'd want from an online game. But Warframe has something even better than all three. And if you have read the title of this video, you already know what it is. But before I get to that, I need to give you a bit of backstory. You see, every online player has what I like to call a main game. That one you always go back to, the one that eats up all of your free time like a goddamn black hole. And for me, that game was obviously League of Legends. Yeah, I know, saying you actually enjoy League is pretty much a crime on the internet, but I used to play a lot of it. Like there is something wrong in my life levels of a lot. Now, if you enjoy League, I am happy for you. No hate. It's your time. I don't really give a care. I don't care. Do what you want with it. But I remember one time I lost 13 ranked games in a row and basically flamed an entire city into depression. Myself included. I remember dropping from Diamond 2 to Platinum 1, basically a whole rank, and after the final loss and nearly punching a hole in my screen, I closed the client, uninstalled League, and opened up Steam looking for a replacement. My first instinct was to try Dota 2, since it's the closest thing to League. But while searching, I stumbled across this weird-looking free-to-play game called Warframe. At first I was hesitant. I had heard the same rumors. It's too overwhelming, too complicated, too chaotic. But I gave it a shot, and immediately fell in love with the gameplay. Seriously, I played like 6 hours in a row in my first sitting and then decided to check out online gameplay. I think it was my 10th or 11th online game, a survival mission. Now usually you can leave after 5 minutes, but the squad decided to stay for a full 30 minutes. And obviously the longer you stay, the harder the game gets. And my frame wasn't exactly the strongest, so I was dying left and right, and my squad had to revive me over and over again. I'm kind of ashamed to admit this, but I was ready, you know, just waiting for one of them to say something, one bad word, and I was gonna go full rage mode, dragging their entire family into the argument, but no one said anything. Instead, after dying a few more times, one of them just typed, "Hey Volt," which was the name of my Warframe. "Stay close to me so I can buff your shield. And don't worry about dying, just focus on using your 4th ability and doing your best." The squad carried and protected me for the whole 30 minutes. And when the mission ended, all they said was, "Good game, well played." That's it. No flaming, no bragging, no bullshit that pisses you off for the next hour, or anything like that. Then one of them messaged me privately and said, "You should really look into joining a dojo. It's how you get the best weapons in the game." I said, "What's a dojo?" And this guy, who I have never even talked to before, basically spent 20 minutes patiently teaching me how to craft a dojo key, how to mod my weapons, and where to find the best early weapons in the game. Honest to God, at some point I thought maybe he was an admin or something, and maybe explaining things to new players is his job, but no. He was just a normal player that wanted to help out. And by the end I asked if I could join his dojo, which is a fancy name for clan, and he simply said, "Sure," and then invited me to the dojo. It was like going from the hell of League of Legends, where I had a headache after every single game, even the winning ones, to the heaven of Warframe, where I actually enjoyed my time. And every time I'm on a verge of flaming someone because of a bad play or connection issues, I remind myself to shut the hell up, and maybe instead of bitching, I should do something that actually helps the squad. And that attitude has not changed to this very day. This isn't actually heaven though, so I'm not gonna lie and say the community is 100% perfect, because it's not. There are trolls and D-bags that may ruin your day, and people who might try to sell you an item for too much money or stuff like that. They definitely exist and can be a real pain in the ass. But in my 900 plus hours of playtime, I've only reported 2 people. It's so rare I even remember one of their names, and I seriously did not want to do it, but they were genuinely making the game hell for new players. And here's the best part, reporting in Warframe actually matters. It's not like League where you just mass report the whole server just for existing after every single game. No, in Warframe, when you report someone, it's taken very seriously, because it doesn't happen much. Also, since we are talking about community, I need to mention trading, since it's a massive part of it. You can actually acquire the premium in-game currency, platinum, just by playing the game. Basically by trading gear or mods with other players. And you don't need to be 100 hours into the game to do so. You can start trading as soon as you reach Master Rank 2. And it's not like you have to go around begging people to buy your stuff. You can easily go to a website called warframe.market, not sponsored by the way. Look up people who are interested in the items you have, see how much they're willing to pay, message, and just sell it to them. It's that simple. Then you go buy yourself a nice motorcycle with the money you just made, which is incredibly rare in an online video game. But it's not all perfect though. You do need to know the value of items and where to find the best ones, so you're not gonna be a rich tycoon just after 2 days. And there is something I need to clear up right now. Not everything in the game is able to be purchased with platinum. Some items you can only get by directly buying them. But let's face it, this is a free-to-play video game, so yeah. Before I wrap this up, I want to give a few honorable mentions to my favorite parts of Warframe that didn't quite fit anywhere else, but absolutely deserve a shout out. Bullet jumping across the map like a parkour ninja never gets old. Seriously, once you master it, no other game feels quite right. I don't know why most people don't like these areas. They are my absolute favorite. I get to use every single weapon or warframe I worked super hard to get, and running around the map as Gauss at Mach 15 never gets old. If anybody says anything bad about Call, I will kill them and their whole family. Just saying. You can buy everything in the game with real money, but unless you actually spend the time upgrading it, it's not gonna do you any good. Time and knowledge beats money here. This is how a mission starts in Warframe.
These are worthy foes. Underestimate them at your peril.
and each planet and game mode has its own intro. It is super badass. Having your own spaceship ready for battle with a fully customizable crew and the ability to personalize everything from weapons to paint color is just awesome. I mean, just look at this thick boy. It's a walking arsenal of destruction. I love it. At some point in the game, you can actually add a massive gun to your arsenal. Mine is called, the name is too hard to say, so I'm just gonna call it Exterminator. Basically your home base, and it is 100% customizable. I'm terrible at decorating, but that doesn't mean I don't enjoy it. Also, you can literally see the planet you're orbiting and your railjack from inside. And by far the most important one, whenever it's possible to do a mission with a team, you should. Not only does everyone get the same loot, but sometimes you can get even better loot thanks to your teammates, and they don't lose a thing in the process. It's a win-win-win-win situation. And look, I know I've been pretty much just gushing about the game for the entire video, but aside from a few confusing level objectives and layouts, the occasional connection issues, which has mostly been solved by now, and maybe too much grinding in some parts, I don't really have a lot to complain about. Which brings me to the elephant in the room, digital extremes, or as the cool kids say, DE. Now I get it, it's naive and borderline stupid to put your faith in a video game company these days. Most of them would break both of your legs for $10 and then sell the rest to Tencent or any other corporative asshole the second they smell a paycheck. Piece of shit. But here's the thing, I actually have some hope for digital extremes, and for a damn good reason. They have never hidden major content behind a paywall. Garbage. They never try to kill the in-game trading system just to force more platinum cells, and they keep delivering fresh, creative bangers time and time again for the last 5 years. I mean, the worst thing I have ever seen them do is delay content, and when you compare that to some of these other garbage fire studios, calling that a problem feels like a goddamn joke. Sure, they're not perfect, no dev team is, but DE actually feels like one of the last studios out there that still gives a crap about the player experience, and not just about selling you some overpriced emote or some stupid dance. And in a gaming industry flooded with broken promises, microtransaction hellholes, and blunt cash grabs, that line right there, that sentence, actually means something. You know, talking about all this reminded me just how damn good this game really is. And honestly, I'm gonna go play some more. I think you should give it a try as well. Thanks for watching.